Good day, folks. Me and Joe Green here, and sorry if I'm a little quiet, maybe not as enthused as usual. There's relatives in my house, and it's kind of awkward. They listen to me talking to myself, but this is the first episode of Your Take Tuesday in which you guys asked the questions. And so to kick it off, the first question was asked by a very good pal of mine. I've actually known him for a while. I give him a lot of credit for boosting me into the YouTube world. Especially back in the Call of Duty days, and it's my friend Ethan Wind and Fire. And he didn't answer his own question. Kind of a shame, but he asks, which is your favorite German luxury brand? Mercedes-Benz, BMW, or Audi? He also said Porsche, but Ethan, that's a sports car brand. No, I love you, Ethan. I'm joking, but it is kind of a sports car brand. So we'll just ask Mercedes-Benz, BMW, or Audi. And for me, seeing as I am a big fan of the M5, M3, I'd have to say Audi. No, I'm joking. I actually, of course, Bavarian Motor Works. I've always liked BMW. I don't know why. Especially the older body styles back in like the 80s. I just love the way they look for some reason. And I think they make great cars. And if you have a BMW, even if it has a bazillion miles on it, people are like, oh my gosh, you got a BMW. That's what it is with all German brands, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, or Audi. It doesn't matter if it's old. People are so stupid. They're like, oh, you got an Audi, you're so spoiled, even though it has like 140,000 miles and it's like 10 years old. People don't understand pricing, I guess. They think just because it's an Audi, it's fancy and it's nice. I don't know. People are pretty dumb, but of course not every person's a car person. But yeah, so I'd have to say BMW to that one, because I'm a big fan of the M3 and the M5. So Ethan, make sure you answer your own question, my man. Thanks. And you guys too. Alright, the next question was asked by Elite Maddie 37, and he said, he poses a good question. He didn't answer it either. Come on, man. Nah, it's all good. Just answer in the comments. But just for future reference, when you guys ask the question, answer it in the message too, so that way I can read it to everybody. He says, if you had to use a hot hatch as a car for the rest of your life, what would it be? I like that question a lot, and it's also a very easy answer for me, and that would be the Golf GTI, because it's a Golf GTI too, because I just think it's probably one of the best all-around vehicles of all time, and combines good gas mileage. I like the way it looks over. It would be a close call between that or the Ford Focus RS, just because, I don't know, but seeing as I actually, I haven't driven a lot of, really fancy-dancy cars, but the thing about the GTI that gives it the edge over everything else, I've actually driven one, so I can kind of say, I guess my point is kind of valid. But yeah, so if I had to use a hot hatch for the rest of my life, Golf GTI, easily. Great car. Reliable, fast, sporty, cute, mustard, gravy, good stuff. By the way, this is kind of random, but I have Big League Chew, and my gosh, that stuff is so good. But anyway, on to the next question. Okay, Foul Fint, he's a friend of mine on Xbox, and he asks, what reminds you most of a V12 engine? And he said his answer would be baking ingredients, because the first thing that comes to his mind when he thinks of a V12 is vinegar. I guess, I don't know if it has to regard to food, but the thing that makes me think of a V12 is motherfucking James Bond, because he drove that V12 Vanquish, and I love the V12 Vanquish, and that's basically anything. I mean, when I think of V12s, I really think of James Bond, and then as a car company, I think of Aston Martin for the most part, just because of the V12 Vanquish and how James Bond drove it, and how I played so much freaking Nightfire when I was a kid. So yeah, it's an interesting question. I like that question. That was really interesting. Baking ingredients. But yeah, so James Bond. The next question comes from an Awkward Fox. He's a sketchy person. He sells cocaine to young kids, so just be careful if you ever see him on Xbox Live. SSD Fox. He's sketchy. He might try to sell you heroin or something. But He asks, when people go overseas for military reasons, they bring back a car from a country. And so he said if he went to Japan, he would come back with a Skyline 32, or if he went to a European country, he'd bring back one of the RS4s. So this is kind of like, what car would you like to import if you could? And this narrows it. This narrows down. This is kind of like the one question I asked about which cars do you wish were available in your market, but it narrows it down to one car, which I like. That's a good question. For me, if I went to Japan, I would bring back it's a really, really difficult question. I can't even, Honda NSX. Just because, I don't know, I can't really think of many Japanese cars that are over there that I would want to bring back. Sounds kind of pessimistic, but I don't know. Guess that's my answer. And if I went to a European country, I would bring back I'd bring back a Ford Escort. I'd bring back an old Ford Escort because a Mark 1 or an RS 1800, just because those things are fresh to death. And then I guess he didn't answer America because he's from America, as am I. But if I did not live here in America and I had to bring back a car, I would bring back like a Charger or Challenger if I was going home to Europe. I don't know. I'm not putting too much effort into that question. But yeah, so that's the commentary right there. I just want to go right back through this. I don't think I missed anyone's questions. So special thank you to Ethan, my boy Ethan. Thank you, Maddie, for your question. Falflin and Foxy, even though you're sketchy. No, I'm joking. I joke. Of course, everybody knows I'm joking. But yeah, so next week, send in some more questions, guys. Send them in the messages. Remember to answer them in the message. I'm actually not that mad about it. Guys, make sure you answer your own questions in the comments too. But yeah, and people can send questions again if they want. I mean, I don't know if any different people are gonna send questions. So I'm gonna try to. You guys, if you've sent one before, you can send it again. But I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna prioritize people who haven't had a question before. I'm gonna put their questions first. Nothing personal or anything. But yeah. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and remember, send in your questions.